Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to the Other Side Lifestyle Podcast with Jim and Aram, where the production value is so good, we don't edit anything. Right now, Aram the Savage is stroking, what was that?
It was a ring sizer.
A ring sizer. What do you use it for?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yes, that's why I asked.
Well,
I'm confused.
it starts thin and it ends thick, and I like to just kind of test my own tolerance.
Nice. You start on the thick side?
No, I'm not that savage yet. I start on the thin side and just kind of squeak my way in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Today we have a repeat guest. We've only had a few ever. James Cappola.
It's an honor.
It is an honor, and I wanted to jump right into. James has been doing a lot of research on blue light poisoning, and I wanted to hear his just findings about the effect on the metabolism from overexposure to blue light. So if we could just get right into the research on this, James, that would be fantastic.
Sure. I mean, we just got to be like our ancestors who also used iPhones and just live a primitive lifestyle like them. And it won't matter what we do as far as a calorie surplus or not, as long as we don't expose ourselves to blue light, then our credit score will remain fine. We won't gain weight, and everything is right with the world, because this is the world we live in, where we don't know what reality is anymore. It's a wild west.
Are we allowed to still drink seed oil while abstaining from blue light?
I'm funneling seed oil up my ass as we speak.
Nice.
Wow, you have the full loop system, like a dialysis machine.
Yeah, to lower my LDLs.
That's why your skin glows so well.
Exactly.
It's from the seed oil.
Italian. No, it's because I do seed oil enemas.
Yeah. James, why don't you believe in calories in versus calories out? Why are you so against the science?
Are we still doing satire?
No.
We can
playing. I do believe in it very much.
Well, that's
so. Where do you? And I think that's an actually interesting point to unpack a little bit, because there's people that will vehemently say that calories in, calories out doesn't work for them specifically, right? It works for other people,
right,
but they always use it in the context of like, well, it didn't work for me. Where do you think that comes from?
It comes from not being smart or creative enough to build a following unless you say something completely polarizing and untrue.
What about from the end user standpoint, right? Like, let's say you get a client.
So I think that they're not factoring, like, if they're not taking body composition into account or muscle mass, then it gets a little confusing, right? Like, we all know that you can actually gain muscle in a slight deficit. Nothing crazy, but if you keep up with your protein requirements, progressively overload, sleep well, etc., then you should be able to build muscle and lose inches. And I think that they're kind of believing what they want to believe with that data. But realistically, as far as long-term changes with body fat, it's going to be either a deficit or a surplus or maintenance.
Yeah, it wasn't working because they weren't in a deficit.
Right.
They had a random number that they thought should have been, and they either weren't hitting that number or that number wasn't a deficit for them.
If you truly, if people are truly in a deficit, a pretty significant deficit, the weight comes flying off. That's why so many people, when they're like, I've been doing 1,200 calories for 6 months and I'm gaining weight, I'm like, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've gone into disordered eating where I went down to 600 calories a day. The weight comes flying off if you truly are in an actual deficit.
How do you have that conversation with someone who's so convinced that they're eating 1,200 calories and you have to confront them on that? How does that conversation go?
Well, you're not only kind of calling them a liar, which you don't intend to do, but that's what's happening.
Well, I don't think they're lying. I think
no. Like they're not.
They can feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not intentionally lying. I believe that they feel that way. But we believe what we want to believe. Like, for instance, someone who says they only have one cookie, but they didn't count the 3 cookie dough balls that they had before they had the 1 cookie that they baked, right? Or like the serving of peanut butter, but they don't count the tablespoon that they licked off the spoon. And it's that like here and there, and it's a hard pill to swallow. And sometimes we do need that in front of us, and we need to be realistic. It's people who are not taking the weekly calorie deficit into account as opposed to daily. And I don't have that conversation by saying that they're lying or anything. I have it by saying, like, okay, well, let's talk about like what it is that you're eating and the last time you felt guilty about overeating. It's like, well, I overate like yesterday and stuff. Okay, so this is an example of not always being in the 1,200 calories, like you said. It probably happens more often than you think, but to avoid the pain, it's out of sight, out of mind. And I understand that. I've done it. I literally completely just like when I drank and did drugs and everything, I completely just like, okay, that's a given. I'm not going to stop doing that, but I'll be healthy outside of that. Right. And I kind of was like, hey, why isn't my body looking good? I don't get it. I only binge drank all weekend, you know?
It's just the weekend.
Just a
Right.
week. Just 23% of your week.
Right. And we believe what we want to believe. I get it. So really, if I empathize with them and I talk with them instead of at them, they understand and they don't feel like a failure because that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah. How's your daughter doing?
Great.
Yeah.
She's 13 now, right?
Yeah. She's cooking up a storm upstairs.
The last time James was on, she was in the hospital still.
Mm-hmm.
And you were commuting, what, like an hour a day?
Yeah.
And how long has she been home now?
She's been home since Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And
Nice.
Christmas Eve was a nightmare. Erica and I were just like clawing at each other because we were panicking because like she came with like, you know how like gremlins come with like rules and shit? Like she had more rules than a gremlin. And like it was just so complicated, like nurse like stuff. Like we weren't like trained nurses. And like with her medications and her G tube and like things like that and her oxygen. And I was like, oh my God, we can't do this. And then we finally got it. And then it just became a norm. And since that night, we've slept every night without a problem because she sleeps without a problem.
Wow.
And I think that's because of the NICU and she's used to all the beeps and shit.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of awesome. So basically, the moral of the story is keep your child in the hospital for as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Sleep train them in the hospital. But I think that's actually an interesting point because obviously, as a health coach, you're going to have shit happen to you that's going to disrupt your routine, something like as extreme as this, obviously. What were the considerations that you were making during all of this time? Because I think this would be a valuable conversation for our audience because they're going to have shit pop up in their life.
Sure.
Whether it's going to be an elderly parent or a sick kid or somebody traveling for an elongated period of time. And that tends to be very disruptive. But what are the conversations that you had with yourself and what are the wisdom what's the wisdom that you impart onto your clients when they're dealing with those difficult times?
So if your environment is changing, don't try to force it to be like your old environment because it's not. It's just, you have to adapt. We ordered out a lot. That was a big change that we had to make. And our body composition was changing because of it. But I didn't have time to cook dinner and everything. I did make time for my steps. I did make time for my workout. If there's one thing that we had to change, it was me like cooking and everything, right? So like something fell short, but at least I was trying to show up to what I still had control over. So it was what it was. And I definitely did not have the all or nothing mindset of like, all right, well, when we get everything back in order, then we'll go back to my old routines. No, there's still a lot of stuff you can do. And there's a lot of stuff that your wife can do, but you have to talk with her and prioritize and plan and put shit in your calendar, make it known when someone can be with her and when we have a client and everything. And then you just do the best you can and you give yourself grace as a human being going through something. They gain a little bit of fat or something like that, or if our business slows down a little bit, it's our family. It's not like we're just like going to amusement parks or something,
Yeah.
So
That's probably the hardest part, right? Because a lot of people don't change their expectations when their environment or their circumstances change, and they still feel as though like, hey, I only have 80% battery today, but I'm expecting to operate at 100%.
right.
And that's where I think people really fuck themselves is the expectation management side of things gets real muddy. Whereas for anybody that's been playing the long game for as long as we have, we know that when life is fucking crazy, we're going to expect to be a little bit more off our game, and that's okay because it's temporary.
Yeah.
So it's having that conversation repetitively, and I think by going through this type of shit, it probably helps you coach people through those type of times better.
Oh, absolutely. It helps that we have the knowledge of knowing what to do to make up for any deficits that come our way. It's a lot harder for someone who is trying to change their life, but they're like, all right, well, I don't know what to do if I can't do this then. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like they start to panic and go into old thought patterns or limiting beliefs. So you got to just keep their head on a swivel like, all right, well, if you can only show up at 50% today, you show up 100% of that 50%.
Yeah, I think that's what people don't realize too. It's just, that you could still show up to 100% of a much smaller percentage.
Yes. Right.
It doesn't have to be 100% of 100%. Yeah.
Right. Like just saying like, fuck it. Let's just go to like KFC and just like get drunk or something and like whatever.
You get alcohol at KFC? Is
No.
is that like a New York thing? What's going on? I didn't know about this new KFC that's going down.
No, I'd imagine KFC is next to a liquor store and they just
you sit in the parking lot in between the two.
Yeah. You have a famous bowl.
What's your go-to app for ordering food to have sent to the house?
DoorDash.
And do you have the unlimited whatever? Do you pay like a monthly and it's free delivery?
I see where this is going.
I was just curious.
Fuck you.
I was just curious. If he's paying for each delivery.
I have like the Chase Sapphire Club thing that they give, which is a bit of a discount.
Nice.
But I'm not sure about like the membership or whatever. But
so you're not a big piece of shit like me who pays for Grubhub Premium so I can get all of my fees deducted and all my delivery fees erased.
No.
No, I'm not a big fat piece of shit.
You do you though, no judgment.
I mean, I tracked. I mean, I posted about it on Instagram. From March 1st to like I think it was the 13th or whatever it was, $384 on delivery food apps, and one of those times was literally for a bag of chips and a bottle of soda, which I paid I think $17 or $18 to get delivered to the house.
Crazy. And that's
Have you guys ever justified like a crazy amount for like the smallest delivery? You're just like, oh, I want this now, and I'd rather pay for convenience.
Yes, Stacy's pita chips that night. That's exactly what happened. I wanted a Diet Dr. Pepper and I wanted a bag of Stacy's pita chips, and I didn't care who brought it and how much it cost. It could have been $50. I would have fucking paid for it.
Go ahead.
I paid $52 for a fruit salad.
Holy shit!
Not a fruit platter for a party. A fruit salad.
Did they pick it off the vine?
It was this restaurant, like it was like a catering option for like a fruit salad. So I guess it was like a platter.
Okay.
But it's like that was like $25 plus like all these like fees, and then like you're like an idiot fee. And then I was just like, all right, fuck it, I want this. I had a bowl, and I really just wanted like an abundance of fruit.
Like cold fruit
and
when you're stoned. Yeah.
And it was cheaper than an edible arrangement.
Yes. Yeah.
What's your go-to?
Those things are fucking awesome, by the way.
What's your go-to order?
They are for like a day.
What's that?
The edible arrangements are awesome for like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They don't hold up very well. Like past the day, you got to immediately refrigerate them and take them apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you basically get the basket and immediately deconstruct it and take it off all the little sticks and put it into a bowl. Or otherwise, it gets all mushy and gross. No.
Yeah. What's your go-to order when you're like, all right, I want to get a good. In my peripheral vision, I thought you just started flexing, Aram, but you were scratching your elbow. I was like, did you just start flexing? What's your go-to order with that when you're trying to be like good, healthy? Like this is my go-to. Do you have a go-to I need
You
food
mean
here, and I'm getting.
takeout?
Yeah, you're having something delivered to the house, but you're
Well,
not
like
being a
I
slob
don't,
about it.
I don't want to sound like a fitness bro, but like every order that I make, like I'm keeping in mind, like this is healthy and stuff. I never really get like fried things or anything like that. Um, I just make sure that it's balanced, some sort of protein,
Yeah.
some sort of um, veg, carb, like whatever. Like last night, I got like a seafood salad, and just as a carb, I just wanted like lemon, like potatoes.
I think it's good though, because I think people get stuck. Same thing, like just going out to a restaurant, going
Mm-hmm.
out to eat. It's like when I go out to eat, this is the kind of crap I get. Well, if I'm
Right.
ordering food to come to the house, traditionally that's pizza, wings, sandwiches type of thing. And then we get stuck in that mindset. I'm ordering
Right.
food, so it might as well be junk. So that's why I ask. So I think that that's good for people to even hear and understand. Like you can have conveniences delivered to you that are good. They don't have to
Well,
be
I
junk.
think it just comes down to the intention too. Like there's times where I just want to be a fucking slob and I don't care about the quality of the food I'm ordering. And I'm going to go and I'm going to get something highly palatable and calorie dense. And I'm not going to worry about what the ramifications are. And then there's times where if I'm ordering out multiple times per week, I know I can't behave that way because I don't want to deal with the consequences. So instead of ordering fucking pizza and wings, I'm going to get Mediterranean food with a bowl of grilled chicken and rice on the side and potatoes and pita bread, which
Yeah.
I know is just going to make me feel better. So it's knowing how to navigate those variety of options and making sure that you attach a specific intention to it. And I'm sure that's probably exactly how you order.
Yeah. Like there are times when I get like specific cravings for something, and that usually it lasts like longer than like a day. So like maybe I want like a big ass like Cuban sandwich, right? With like a side of fries or something, and that's something that I've wanted for like 2 or 3 days. So I'm gonna get it, and I planned for it, and I know that it's a lot more caloric. Like on like Fridays, I get my bagel with the lox and cream cheese and keepers and everything, and I plan for that each Friday, and I kind of just treat it like a budget for the rest of the day. Like I blew a lot of my wad on this meal, and just so I don't go overboard, I'm gonna have a lighter lunch, probably a little bit of lighter dinner, and that's just what I do.
Yeah.
And that's such a reasonable approach too, and it allows people to make those types of accommodations and never really feel restricted.
Yeah,
Because I think where most of our clients are going to have the biggest trouble is they always think that once they start adopting this healthy lifestyle, that all of these indulgences are just no longer now able to be had. As opposed to like, no, you can still have this stuff. Just understand that you're going to have to make adjustments on the other meals of the day. So if you're going to eat 3 meals a day and one of them is high in fat calories, high in carb calories, well, you may want to limit fat and carb calories from your other 2 meals, ramp up your protein. You'll
yeah,
probably be relatively full from that indulgent meal. And instead of just slashing the other 3 tires and saying, fuck it, I'm just going to eat like an asshole all day, I can enjoy these things throughout the entire week and never really want for anything.
sure, sure. And like usually the analogy I give is like if you have $100 and then like you can only spend $100 for the day, and that big indulgent meal was like 30 or $40, you got about 60, 70 left. So that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
creating a budget. That's what. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously like the money's like the best, and the budget's the best analogy for it because nobody would say, "Well, that's disorder." I've used this phrase before. That's disordered financing.
right,
You know,
right,
like
right.
nobody says that. I'm going to shift gears and ask you. James does. If you don't follow James and you're listening to this, he does 90+%. I'd say this is a total. Most statistics are made up. Reaction videos with your social media.
Mhm.
Are you scrolling and finding these? Are people sending them to you and tagging you?
People send them to me.
Yeah, I
How
do. I don't. I was going to ask the same thing because I've never seen any of this shit.
I know, and I do have questions about that stuff too. So it's all stuff that which is great. If you build up a large enough following, you don't have to scroll social media to find content. People will send it to you. All right, that's all. Nobody sends me shit to do a reaction to. So I don't. Yeah, I don't see half this stuff as well. What does it take for you to decide that you're going to react to it? Like I
Well,
would
I
assume
mean,
sometimes you're like, I don't even want to
right. So
react to this.
so I see when someone is like problematic and they kind of look a little nuts, and I'm like, I don't want this person. I don't want to be on this person's radar. Like they were tagging me themselves, like saying like toxic stuff, right? So and like I don't want to give this person the clout that they're desperately searching
Yeah.
for. But when someone speaks about something with conviction that gets me really upset, then I just have the urge to speak about it as soon as possible. So like when you see me get angry or emotional, obviously a lot of it is theatrics and a persona, but the emotion is pretty real for the most part. And I don't like wasting that emotion. So I jump on it really quick.
And if you don't follow him when he's really angry, he sounds exactly like he does right now. He'll be like, I am very upset right now. He's very calm.
Yeah, it's like almost like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I play Moonlight Sonata. That's another way how you know that. Like I'm serious for this one.
Every time. So
But if
great.
it's like a Foley or something, then I'm like, I'm still gonna kick your ass, but I'm gonna be like fun about it.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's almost like when your mom gets upset with you, she doesn't actually physically strike you. She just kind of talks to you in a way that makes you feel shitty about yourself. And that's how the people that are creating content that James fucks with probably feel after they watch the videos. They're like, ooh.
I feel like most people are like, whatever, fuck him.
It would have been
Because
better.
that's, I feel like just people's attitude in general, especially if they're presenting what we believe is bad information.
I mean, let's be honest. Half of these like fucking 17-year-olds who are walking around with their abs and saying, I would never put this in my body. It's like, okay, like James's favorite thing to say is, okay, pumpkin.
Yeah.
Like, we know that at the end of the day, you're probably fucking hating yourself. You have a shitty relationship with your parents and you don't even live at home anymore because they couldn't stand you. So now you're trolling grocery stores and walking around shirtless like a dickbag.
Or they love themselves and they think they're in this great place and just not having the forethought of what it's going to be like 15 years from now and how much we change mentally, physically, socially, like so many things change. I think a lot of people that are so convinced of it, they're so in that lifestyle, they're convinced of it. And they're not thinking about how other people aren't viewing fitness as the center of their life.
Well, they're speaking in their echo chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're this young person who this is what they're all about, and they don't understand how you can't be all about this.
And it's so funny when people think that they know what I'm all about. Like you just want people to stay fat. You want people to be unhealthy. I'm like, what fucking sense does that make?
Right.
Yeah, why do you want them to stay fat?
Because I'm evil, apparently.
Well, that's the thing is like you can listen, and I'm sure you could probably agree with me on this. There's some people that respond really, really well to aggressive, tough love messaging.
Yeah,
and they can, but that's not a massive portion of the population that's going to respond to that.
There's a difference. Sometimes I'm aggressive and I show like tough love, but I maintain their respect and dignity the entire time.
So give us an example, because I'm curious. Like, let's say, for example, you're having a problematic client who's experiencing or showing a lot of non-compliance, but then they're also complaining to you about their lack of results.
Sure.
How would you speak to that individual?
So I have a habit tracker. We go look in the habit tracker. We see that they didn't fill anything in. I said, okay, when we signed up, remember when you were all excited? You said that you were all about this. I told you it's going to be difficult. And in those moments, you got to reach out to me. You haven't reached out to me yet, which means that you're kind of avoiding this. And if you avoid it, you're not going to grow. You're going to waste your time here, and I don't want you to do that. So what you're going to do is every time you feel dysregulated, I want you to reach out. We'll have a conversation. I'll show you that you're not as fragile as you think, but as long as you write the narrative that you are, then you will be that fragile.
Yeah. So because I'm with you, I feel like in my approach or my outlook on it of I don't care if you're shredded. I want you to just be happy.
Yeah.
In your skin. And it's like, and stop continuously letting yourself down. And because I think a lot of people who are continually quote unquote, letting themselves down, like they still want to enjoy all those things and they're not in maybe that bad of shape. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want to be going out to happy hour with friends or do you want to be shredded? Because you keep going out to happy hour with your friends. So maybe just be happy at happy hour instead of continuing the cycle of complaining and beating yourself up.
Yeah. Like I knew this person who come every Monday. They had a shit ton of regret and stuff. And they're like, I just want to like go out on the weekends and just like have fun and like not care. And I was like, but you do care every Monday. I was like, if you could stand by it, do it. Do it. Really. Who am I to say, no, you can't do that if it's like what you stand behind? But every Monday you have a regret. You want to let go of your inhibitions and have your cake and eat it too. And this is what happens. Like, you got to make a choice here. I'm not saying that you can't go out, but maybe instead of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we just break it down to Friday and try that. And it's a hard pill for people to swallow because then they go like, all right, I'll just stop completely. No more drinking. I'm like, but no, because then you're going to fucking black out of deprivation. I was like, I'm not telling you got to stop. This is your pattern.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. It's being able to find that balance or be able to help people find their own balance. Because unless they arrive at that balance themselves, we're not going to be able. Yeah,
I tell people all the time when like I help them like on like social media with like a post, I'm like, hey, you're not going to change just because I'm making this impactful post here. You're not going to change just because I'm saying words. You're going to fuck up again. Okay, you're not just going to go, oh, thank you, I know everything now.
No.
Like it took me a very long time to get out of my own way.
Yeah, a lot of practice and a lot of mistakes. And the way that I even perceive mistakes when it comes to nutrition and fitness, all they are is human decisions in that moment that are placating towards instant gratification versus the long-term goal. And I don't know any human being that's immune to that. Like, we're not fucking robots, and we're going to have emotions dictate our actions because that's who we are as people. We're emotional beings living in a physical body, and we got to figure this shit out, whatever works for us and whatever level of balance we have to achieve. And for some people, they may be chasing that balance for the rest of their life, but at least if they're actively trying and being aware of their decision making, then they have a chance to remedy some of their behavior.
And then understanding too, I think that sometimes we do need to be out of balance in order to find that balance.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah.
And some people they're not accepting that. Like, I don't have to cut this out forever. You don't have to cut it out forever, but at least maybe for a period of time, going out.
Yeah,
to all
and I
these
will
things.
say that like I just like organically over time significantly reduced my alcohol intake. Like maybe 2 drinks a month. And I mean, I got like blackout like every weekend for so long. And it wasn't me just doing it and making a choice for like my health. It was just like, I don't think this serves me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like, I don't, the cons weigh out the benefits at this point.
Yeah. I've only blacked out like a few times in my life.
Oh
really?
I mean,
yeah.
I woke up in the hospital like 5 times.
Yeah.
I've never actually woken up in the hospital. I've ended up in the hospital, never actually woken up there. That to me is impressive.
He has good friends. He has good friends. Our friends Aram leave us in the hallway of the apartment building.
I was at a Target, but my friend my friend called the ambulance.
Yeah. And I was going to say, no, I would usually leave my friends to go find food. And then I would just like fall asleep on the ground.
I don't know how you still have all your fingers and toes.
Bronx. This is good.
I mean, dude, like some of the fucking places that you hung out at in New York, like you're lucky to be alive.
No, I know. And I would try to find my way home with negative money in my account. I would just like meet people on the way. Like, do you know where my home is?
Pointing.
Like I can't afford a thing. And I would walk like 5 miles back to my campus.
In December.
I remember a dude I knew in college was out like hammered, annihilated, gets a taxi. This is like pre-Uber. Gets a taxi home, but to home, hours away.
Like his parents' house?
And had some huge bill, tab, whatever, from the taxi person hours away. And the dude's like, okay, like I'll take this ride, I guess, and took him. That's awful.
I've had that happen multiple times. When I lived in Stanford and partied in New York City, there was multiple times
and you got a cab to Russia?
Missed that train back to Stanford because I think the last train is like 1:51. And
what a terrible time for the last train coming from New York.
It's 1:51 or the next train is like 5 something. So you have this this like evil gap in between where you have the choice of either sitting at the train station or you just go back out, which obviously the choice is you go back out. And you go to some fucking shithole bar by Grand Central Station and you close it down at 4, and then you have to wait another 45 minutes to an hour for the train to show up. And by this point, you're just like, fuck it, it's already tomorrow. I might as well go get breakfast and hang out in New York for the day.
Such different experiences than me. It's funny. Do you ever feel bad if you're kind of coming at somebody who has like a small following? Because sometimes I'll see a big following, sometimes it's small, and I'm like, I'm just always wondering what you think.
Recently, I just called out someone. And I'm like, I'm not going to tag this person. They've got a relatively small following. I'm sure he's trying to appeal to his demographic. I just my conscience was telling me, just don't bring the heat to his page.
Yeah.
But there's some people I'm like, fucking tag. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm getting so fucking tired of people calling out Lizzo going, oh, you're skinny now. I thought that fat was beautiful. I thought that it was healthy to be fat. I'm like, you fucking moron. I was like, she just didn't want to be treated like shit. None of them do. Why is this so hard for you? It's like, see, so we can treat fat people like shit. It's like, oh, I fucking hate them. I tagged them in a second.
I guess I mean that's the problem, man. Is like I see these posts and I'm like, where does this stuff live? I mean, my explore page is food porn and bullshit like that. Like, I don't see all of this like Eddie Abu or all these other fucking idiots that are running around groceries. Like, I don't ever see any of that stuff, and my clients don't send me any of that content because the couple of times they tried, I sent them a 45-minute voice note back on like explaining to them how none of this makes sense, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, I don't want to do this ever again. So that they just stopped doing it, and now I just don't. I don't even know that shit content exists. But I'm not on TikTok either, and I think that's where a lot of this stuff is.
Yeah, I'm tagged both on TikTok and Instagram, and like, to be honest, for like mental health, I like it a lot more when I get to inspire someone and bring them up than take them down, even though taking people down is just like second nature. And there are times when I've taped it and I'm like, okay, too mean, dial it back.
Really?
I never go after physical attributes unless like they're talking about chemicals and shit and they got like enough lip filler to sink the Titanic. And I'm like, all right, you're being a hypocrite, you know?
Yeah, but that's at the same time, like even with like the COVID vaccine, we don't have to get too controversial. People are like, yeah, you're afraid of the vaccine, but you snorted Coke, like all that stuff. You snorted Coke off a bathroom in a shitty bar. It's like, yeah, because we trusted that Coke guy and the filth on the toilet more than that. It's like, it's not the best analogy, you know? So sometimes it's, you know, it's not necessarily hypocritical. It's, yeah, I didn't feel that was as bad for me as this, but I do understand it, you know? Because that's what's that?
I'm triggered. I have done that.
Same here. Same here. I've done it too in New Orleans.
It's great just having the specific location.
Yeah, STK Midtown, best bathrooms to do blowout.
Oh my God, the private bathrooms.
So that's New York City is just chock full of private bathrooms. All
I know, and it's like
doors,
so nice.
Doors that come all the way down. Oh man, what a beauty those were! And there were still times where I was on my knees on the lid of the toilet.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm classier than I am right now.
Yeah, I might pull a little bit of paper, like toilet paper, down so my knees don't get messed up, and I don't fuck my pants up. But there's no other surface for me to use, so obviously the toilet seat's going to get wiped down nice, and hopefully it's dry enough.
I don't miss it though. And I hated when like it wasn't like your bag, and like even though like you don't feel like a fiend, you just ask for it again, and they give you the look like, oh, you just did it. I'm like, no, that was 20 minutes ago.
They're like, it was 12.
Everything seems like 20 minutes when you're doing blow. Everything is just like, oh, 20 minutes. It's like when you call your dealer and you're trying to re-up at midnight. He's like, yeah, I'll see you in 45 minutes, and then 2:30 he shows up.
Oh my God. He was the worst with timing. Always like 3 hours after. drove me nuts. And I'm like, well, another hour and I'm going to cancel. I'm like, I'm not going to cancel, but just come on.
Yeah, you've lost interest even too at that point. So you're like, the window's gone. I don't even want it now.
Never was. It was always there. The window stayed open, unfortunately. The portal never closed. Well, I'm with you, man. I'm the same. Like I've looked back at some of like my shenanigans, and I certainly don't regret any of them because I feel like they're all very formative to bring us to where we are. But I think if you don't have that type of shit happen in your life, like let's say you never get to a point where you're upset with how you feel or how you look, like what catalyst for change do you really have intrinsically outside of that?
Sure.
Yeah, there's no reason to. At the same, I mean, nobody's hiring you because they are happy with their body, but they've been told it's not good enough. It's like they got to that point that they're not happy with. So yeah, if you are just happy with there is no reason to change. Do you ever feel like when you do get the thing sent to you, people having these messages, do you think that that will ever change for you, or do you ever think maybe I'm not going to react to this video, but I'm going to educate on it separately?
I have done that before. Again, with people who I just like don't want to like have them like in my life because I could just feel that they're a little off. But I've just gotten so used to it. And unfortunately, all my videos that go into the millions of views are like stitches and stuff. Yeah, I've never had just a video of me, like unless like it was like an Aria video or like a Tammy video, like just go viral by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the toughest part. It's like you don't want to give these people attention, like what Rob said, like you don't see these videos and now you do see them. And then a lot of times it's like, oh, let me go to this person's page, see what they're about, kind of a thing. Like you don't want to give them attention, but that's helpful for you to be able to give them attention, it sounds like. That's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, well, I try to just keep it on the subject matter. Again, it's not like I make fun of physical attributes. It's not like I talk a lot of shit, but I try not for it to be like cheap shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And like most of the time they'll come back and they'll just be like, you're fat, you're bald. And I'm like, all right, well, you're dumb. I was like, this is your comeback, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. What's the most like aggressive someone's ever been with you?
Oh my God. For the last like 6 months, we've had someone just like completely harassing us through our applications. So there's nothing I can do. There's no way I can block them or anything. They'll just like, your retard crack baby daughter. And they call me a fat shit all the time. They call Erica fat and that they want to skull fuck her and that we're just fat trainers and drug addicts. And I say this is weekly for the last 6 months. And they've also made Instagram hate pages of us.
Jesus.
Can you imagine
when
going
you say through the app, what do you mean?
So unhinged.
Through our applications. Through our applications for coaching.
Oh, so they're going on applying to be a client and then they just shred you in the application.
Right.
Okay.
Like who has the fucking time to do that?
So
weird.
So I recently had to get a police report in order for them to like block the IP address, but it turns out they're using a VPN, so it didn't even work. So I got to see what else I could do.
I mean,
and do you receive everyone? Do you read every application? Do you have somebody that filters those?
Well, I mean, we do have an assistant who like filters it, but like it's still going to go in like the spreadsheet. So like it does catch my eye, and like I kind of want him like to fuck up. I kind of want him to fuck up and say like a direct threat, like this way we can actually like really like pursue it. But it's all right. I mean, he's not the brightest tool in the box, I can tell, and he's horrible at talking shit. I would destroy me.
It's like when you watch those videos of like Charlie Kirk and he's debating somebody, and then like if he gets to the point, I know, but if he gets to the point where he wins, there's always somebody who's like, your face is small. Your head's big. Like when they get to that point, they don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
I agree. He's like, he's out of control. But it's always so funny it gets to that point, somebody just says, "You have a small face."
Yeah. And like, since I don't like fuck up or lie or anything, I'm not nervous about him saying anything about me because I know like whatever he says is not true. So whenever like I come close to fucking up, like for instance, it's not even fucking up. It's like I said I wasn't going to post on Sundays anymore, and then I did. And he's like,
You're a hypocrite.
He's a liar. He's a liar. He said that he wasn't going to post on Sundays. Now he did. I told you he's a manipulator, a liar, a drug addict.
He's obsessed to be watching enough to pay attention to if you posted on a Sunday.
Oh yeah, and if I do anything with a post about like body dysmorphia and stuff, he's like, "No, you're a fat fuck," and
you have no idea who it is.
None. He's giving clues that he knows me from
our real life,
but I would really like to know what it is. Like the thriller mystery, the theatric part of me would love if it was like my like assistant. Like that would be a cool twist.
It's your wife the whole time.
Or if I dissociated so much, if it was like me.
So basically you're Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy's smart though. He's using the VPN. This guy, he's clever.
So, yeah. Instead of binge eating, James blacks out and makes fun of himself.
Yeah. It's coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
It's in the computer.
But I mean, the problem is though, James, and we've talked about this in DMs before. Like it gets to weigh on your mental health when you start surrounding yourself with this level of negativity. Because every time you make a post, because of how large the following is you're going to get a ton of responses that you have to filter through to some degree.
Yeah,
and not all of them are going to be positive, and that's the biggest issue. Is that like even I know coaches who get one bad comment on one post and they don't fucking post for weeks because of it. I can only imagine the magnitude of negativity that you have to eat on an hourly basis every fucking day.
Well, if they're just extremely negative and toxic, then it's like nothing. It rolls off me. It's the ones who are like,
more personal.
Hey, so like I'm really like worried about your mental health. You look like you're like not okay and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, well, this is coming from a place of concern. You actually think I look like shit. Now I'm offended. like just like call me a fat fuck or something. Don't like actually like be concerned because now I feel crazy.
Yeah, but dude, it's a lot. Like between all the bullshit you had going on with your family and how hard that was to deal with, and having to run a coaching business where people don't realize that they're like, oh, your job must be so fun and so easy. I'm like, yeah, when people are complying 20% of the time and doing well, but what about the 80% of the time when they're going through shit and you're having to absorb all their negativity and having to counsel them through their horrible times while you're still dealing with your own shit? And that's the hard part. It's almost like you're essentially inviting this stuff.
Well, anyone who makes a post calling me out, I've never seen a successful one before. Never, because they usually are entirely wrong about me. Like he promotes junk food, he promotes obesity and stuff, and my followers like, no, he doesn't. You fucking idiot.
Right.
And
even if you did, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, it's like it's crazy the people. There's just no context, nuance, anything like that. It's you're saying, hey, it's okay to have these things in moderation. Like 90% of. Probably 100% of good coaches.
Yeah.
And it's like he's promoting it. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying it's okay to.
I'm not calling it literally poison like a moron.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, and if that's our opinion, the way that these fucking political extremists and religious extremists post all day long about their belief systems and nobody gives a shit about them, why can't we post? Like if I was like, for example, right? Something like I posted today about deadlifting, and the way that I like to deadlift is I hold the dumbbells off to the side of my thighs. I don't like to hold them in front.
Yeah, right.
Now, if I was to get torn up by some fucking master's degree in kinesiology that's going to tell me that that's not ideal, I'm going to be like, bro, I don't give a shit what you think, and I don't care what Brad Schoenfeld said. That's how I do it. That's how I coach my clients, and they seem to get good results, so I'm going to stick to it.
But Aram, it's not optimal, and I think that's where you're really missing as a coach and falling short, honestly, and really just not holding up your end of the deal with your coaching contract. It's not optimal. It's not optimal.
If you want to see people like just cripple and like insecurity, I have a pinned video on my page that says exactly what I offer along with the price.
Yeah.
So that I don't like mislead anyone. And it's easy because when they fill out the application, they know everything and they basically have their card ready because they know. And there's no fluff, there's no convincing, so that's why I do that. And the amount of people who get so upset about me being transparent, like this is a scam. No, you should actually want to help people. No one who actually wants to help people charges this much, and everything. This is like car payments, and it's like, wow, you don't even do meal plans, and it's just like,
Do you tell them because it's illegal?
Right.
It's illegal. I'm not a registered dietitian, asshole.
Not even as a coach, just as a fucking human being, can never go on someone's page where they're politely saying what the service is along with the price and me going, no, not okay. Like,
and it's funny because it would be okay to tell someone they're not charging enough. That would be like, dude, you're undervaluing yourself. You're not charging enough. That would be like, no problem. But it's to them.
Yeah. I'm just like, charge more. I don't know. Right. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Are people? Are you having these issues because people are objecting to the high price? Is that what the issue is?
Yeah, they
think it's bullshit. He's charging as much as he charges.
Got it. Okay.
They see my overall. They think I'm promoting obesity, and they think that I enable. They think that I sugarcoat, and then I charge what I charge, and they think that I'm just spoon feeding people lard, asking for money, telling them to stay sedentary, and that's how I have my fat mansion.
Yeah. I wish people too understand that everybody is going to resonate with a different individual as a coach. Somebody who's looking for somebody to be hardcore on them, be a drill sergeant, isn't going to hire you. Somebody who does not want a drill sergeant.
You're not my demographic.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's like, yeah, but you still shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Well, it's not like you're not charging something that somebody isn't willing to pay.
Yeah, right.
The second that somebody is willing to pay it, that's the market price.
Yeah. Like I even wrote in that video, I'm at full capacity right now. I'm not taking any more clients at the moment. So obviously, there's people who could afford it, and there's people who don't, and it is what it is. For the people who don't, I have a membership, and we also have group options. There's other options.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like people won't think twice to spend $3,000 on a fucking handbag or $400 for a pair of sneakers that they're gonna then wash and fucking do whatever to 6 times a month.
That you can't even crease. You can't even crease those sneakers.
No,
you gotta walk like Frankenstein.
But then and listen, I know that I don't want to say I undercharge, but I don't charge very much. But that's also because I can handle the amount of business that I've created. And I know that my capacity is a certain number, and once I reach that number, I'm not going to raise my price. I'm just not going to take any more people until people fall off, which every month they do. Like
that's
every month you're going to lose.
I mean,
yeah, sure.
X amount of people.
Everyone has their strengths. I have a lot of people where I build them from the ground up. I'm their first introduction to all of this, so I have to teach them everything.
Yeah.
Right. Everything that applies to them, basically. So. Like biomechanics, physiology, mechanical tension, intuitive eating, protein requirements, any supplements I recommend.
Is it true that you just send them Aram's videos on biomechanics and supplements? Here, listen, I'm going to teach you everything I need to know. Here's a library of Aram's videos on YouTube. You don't have videos on YouTube, do you, Aram?
I do, but they're all hidden. They're only videos I can see.
You got to put some on the Other Side Lifestyle podcast. We got to get more subscribers, man.
I don't think my videos are going to do that. I don't think me performing a bench press is going to help our YouTube audience.
We could make a video library as like a playlist, as like a supplemental thing. James, help us with our business right now, and how we can generate income from YouTube.
I resent YouTube so much. When the TikTok ban was happening, I just started a YouTube page, and I'm just like, I don't know what to put on YouTube that I don't put on TikTok and Instagram. I don't
put the same stuff.
What?
You just put the same stuff. I mean,
Right.
and then they'll actually pay you out if you have enough subscribers, at least 500, and then when you get to 1,000 more, you just get paid per like minutes watched.
Okay.
So you could just, or like views of shorts. So I would take all of your
Yeah,
videos that you post on those two and
I
just put
think
them
I'm
on
at like
YouTube.
600 followers or something on YouTube, but I never try.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people are trying to, work the YouTube thing for that reason.
Well,
Because if you're already putting it on two platforms, just put it there. I just hate having to post again and again.
I know, it's a pain in the ass.
Well, the long form content I think has merit to it because you can go into a little bit more depth of explaining stuff, and the people that are willing to go and watch that length of a video, they're probably a lot more committed and really serious about understanding who you are and what you do, as opposed to the pedestrians. Because we have, I mean, where's your follower count now? Are you over 1 million?
No, I'm at 518,000 on Instagram and like 237,000 on TikTok.
And this was rebuilt after they took your account off, or did they reactivate the account?
Well, they reactivated it after they took it down 3 times.
And did they give you a reason?
No, I think
community guidelines.
Yeah, but I think that someone was just mass reporting me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably someone I called out. Pussy.
Yeah.
So basically, they took you down. When they brought you back up, did all your followers stay?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but he had to build that other one to like 100 plus.
Yeah. My backup account got to 101,000.
Yeah.
That's insane that it got up that, because it wasn't really up for that long, right?
Yeah, like 2 months.
Holy shit. Been fucking stuck at 46,000 for a year.
Well, I mean, I recently made boundaries with how much I post content because I just wanted to spend more time with my family. I was doing 10 posts a day. It's a lot of engagement, a lot of work.
So when you say 10 posts a day, you're making the posts and then saving them, post them later?
No, I just do it on the spot.
So you're actually making the post and immediately throwing it up there?
Yeah.
Oh, and you were doing 10 on all platforms or across all platforms or on each platform?
Well, mainly just TikTok and Instagram.
Maybe the same post. You'll post it at both places. You'll make your video and post it.
Right. I'll start it on TikTok and then I'll take off the watermark and put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Aram,
it's always interesting to see what people's strategies are.
9 more posts a day, Aram. Aram, just stop doing stories and make them posts.
Yeah, I mean, I like stories.
Down to 5, and it's still hard.
Stories are fun because stories people get to engage with a little bit more readily, and they kind of spark thought and conversation that I like. Because then I'll get questions. I'll get like legitimate, actual like, oh, you said something about rep range. Like, I'm doing this and this. What do you think about that? And it just gives you a chance to like understand what people's problems are on a more personal level. Because when you start posting, like it's for the masses more often than not. And yeah, you'll get some comments, but there's nothing that people aren't really putting a lot of thought into the comments. They're just kind of throwing them up there. Whereas if you were to post something on stories that tends to really speak to that individual, they might respond with a relatively context-based question or concern. And now you have some time to really dig into that.
Yeah.
James, you going to the Real Coaches Summit next month?
He can. I already asked him.
Just we.
I got a kid.
Yeah.
Fucking loser.
We haven't seen anyone in 6 months besides our parents.
Yeah.
So we can't wait to socialize.
You said she's still like connected to stuff?
She still has a G-tube, like a feeding pump, but we haven't used it for over a month. So we're able to get it out. So that's good. And then from there, just pretty much a normal baby.
Yeah. It is wild. It's just like people go to school to like learn how to use needles and just like, here, take these, like go shoot yourself up, whether it's testosterone or any hormone stuff. Like we went through to have my son, it was in vitro. It's just like, here's a bunch of needles and just go do it. You'll be fine. Like, why did those people have to go to school to learn how to do this? Just sending people home with stuff like you were saying. It's crazy.
Yeah. They just like wanted to hurry up and go to lunch, and they're just like, all right, so you know what you're doing? No, all right, we don't care. See ya.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's only a human being.
You've exhausted your insurance at the NICU. Get the fuck out.
Oh, you want to hear some shit? It was all covered, but I want you guys to guess how much the bill was for everything.
that insurance, like it was paid
Yes.
for the 6 months.
Yep.
It has to be millions.
Yes.
5, 10,
I don't even know.
5
How
million.
much?
5 million.
God damn, I'm good.
A 6-month stay in the NICU was $5 million.
5 different
I,
surgeries. Yeah. So.
I feel like they could just throw out any magical number and it wouldn't make any sense
Well, you've
whatsoever.
seen,
Like, do they
you
give you
guys
like a
have,
line item, like a breakdown?
My wife has seen it. I haven't seen it yet. I just took their word for it. I was like, all right, fine. As long
That's
as
like
it's
they
3
just
million
fucking
was like
charge
the
you for
room.
everything.
Yeah, like the room. An overnight is like thousands of dollars. It's so absurd. Have you
Oh,
guys
it's the
seen
most
that?
expensive. The ER is the most expensive hotel room in the world.
Yeah. Have you seen that video of that guy who got
Yeah.
the ambulance bill?
Yep.
So it was like a $600 ambulance bill to have his daughter go to the emergency room. Then they find out he has insurance and he gets a $1,200 bill.
Yes. I did see that. That was insane.
It's not unbelievable. Well, yeah, because it was $2,400 since you have insurance and insurance paid half. Can I just go back to not having? No.
Yep.
Like, why do we have insurance?
I know.
I don't know.
Such a
Crazy.
Can you imagine if? Well, I mean, I think some coaches can get set up to where insurance covers them, right? And I know like HSA accounts can cover us sometimes, but I think that's really where the preventative health care really is. Like hiring a good coach is probably better than any insurance policy you'll pay for.
Sure.
I don't understand how we are paying flat rates. I mean, you pay more for your car. The value of the car is more. So if I'm healthier, your life insurance, they're going to do an assessment.
Yep.
You're going to pay less or more based on if you're going to die or not. So why is health insurance not the same way? It's completely absurd.
I agree.
It's such a fucked up system.
James, why don't you fix that? Can you tag health insurance?
Oh my God. He's just going to go after fucking Aetna, and Aetna's literally just going to shut him. They would sniper him from a roof of a building. He would be dead in days.
Yep.
That is a slow bleed.
Dude, the second that James starts going after the insurance companies, it's over. Like he's just going to disappear and his whole family will be gone.
Why won't you sacrifice yourself for the greater good, James?
for the greater good.
So it is just about you, isn't it, James?
Yeah. Very excited.
What are you excited about these days as we come to the end here?
What am I excited about? Well, I'm excited to socialize again. I'm excited for people to meet Arya. I'm excited for just right now. That's pretty much our life. So I don't know what else yet. I got to see what else comes. And
like the new normal. This normal is draining.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking forward to the new normal getting out.
Yep. And we found a way to just manage ourselves, manage our business. So we're not worried about any of that. And just growing as a business and just pissing more people off and making more people happy on social media. So it is what it is.
Well, thank you for doing what you do, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I don't want to do it either. It's enjoyable.
It's really enjoyable, but there's times where I'm just watching him and I'm just like, dude, my blood pressure is 155 over 100. I can't imagine where he's at right now.
Most of the time I'm relatively calm unless I'm talking serious and hear Moonlight Sonata. Then I'm very upset.
So when we hear Moonlight Sonata, we know you're boiling.
Yes.
All right. So anybody that sees any of his videos with Moonlight Sonata on, send him a coffee on Venmo.
Ooh. What's your Venmo?
I think it's just Cappola.
Actually, no. His Venmo is at Jimmy Nutrition.
Right.
That's because I Venmoed you that one time. So yeah, it's at Jimmy Nutrition. Venmo him over there. He got the name before I could, so it's all good. I'll let it go. James, you know our last question, so screw off. We can't ask you. Do you remember what it was? Ooh,
No.
Nice. Well, we're going to ask again, and then we'll go back and we'll see if he answers differently. How's that sound, Aram?
Okay. Shoot.
All right. You ready for the last question?
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh.